Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be talking about Boycott, how it is progressing, the couple of things that has happened meanwhile, and I'm also going to be putting a bit more of my personal spin towards it, because in previous videos I talked much more on point, what is happening, why is it happening, blah blah blah, but I never really kind of like expanded upon my personal thoughts and opinions and my reasoning for it as much as I should have probably. Now, first things first. The thing that I'd spoken about in the first video, that I hope that everybody can remain civil, and I kind of like urged people to be constructive. Unfortunately, obviously, that has fallen on deaf ears, and there has been a lot of shit slinging on Twitter, and a lot of arguments on YouTube and online rooms, and that's extremely unfortunate. That's not something I stand for, that's not something I wish to achieve. Therefore, I personally at least try to stay away from it when it comes to all of these kind of like public drama, arguments, attention, drumming, or whatever else, because that is not what I personally believe in. Unfortunately, internet is such a platform where every single individual is feeling safe, sitting in the comfort of their own rooms behind their screens. They do not ever like really face any worthwhile consequences, and therefore they feel entitled to say anything in the worst way possible. We all know that people on internet will often say the things that they would never have the courage to say to somebody face to face, and then pretend that they would and that they did. But yeah, I kind of find it relatively sad that that is how people choose to conduct themselves, especially right now, and the main point of it all is trying to be constructive and trying to convey a message, resulting in some sort of childish arguments and all that stuff, he said, she said, whatever else. It's just counterproductive. It doesn't help anybody's point. And for me personally, as soon as I kind of like see some personal insults addressed in any comment, I just chuck it out for the most part if I actually happen to read it. And initially it kind of like bothered me for the first couple of days, which is part of the reason why I might not have streamed as much, but now I woke up with a much easier attitude, kind of like I'd be damned if I did boycott, I'm damned if I don't boycott, and rather than looking at this whole situation where there is like a lose-lose situation, I'm looking at it as a win-win situation. If something does happen because of this boycott and there are significant improvements, awesome, right? That's the goal. If nothing happens with this boycott and nobody acknowledges it, or it doesn't last long enough, at least Kebab has lost a substantial amount of money, and I'm sure as hell not going to be sad or upset about it, right? So to me personally, my kind of like more easygoing attitude towards the boycott is win-win either way. I didn't lose anything if I didn't buy an offer or if I didn't spend $500 on koala crystals. All of that will come back in the game later if I still choose to play it for much cheaper, because every resource depreciates eventually, right? So yeah, I don't feel as if though I'm personally making some sort of sacrifice, neither I feel as if though it is too hard or too stressful to take part from my side. Right, all of that being said, the first point of criticism I have heard about this current boycott is that the list of goals is too vague and non-specific and too long and stuff like that. Well, to me, it actually indicates the opposite. Because currently, the way I look at it, the game has, I don't know, 99 problems, but 99 problems, right? And if you try, you can wither it down to 15, 10, which is what people in charge of boycott have done. They have done their best to condense as many different kind of like plan points as condensely as they can, but you still cannot possibly go less than like 15, 10 problems that majorly affect majority of the player base. And to me, rather than looking at the fact and thinking that therefore the boycott is weak or it will not achieve anything, I choose to look at it again from a much more positive perspective. To me, it indicates that the game is at as bad of a state it has ever been. The fact itself that there are so many issues to discuss and talk about, to me, means that many people are not happy with it. Many people want a lot of things to change, and the fact itself that these problems exist showcases how flawed and how inadequate the game maintenance has been, and how poorly Kabam had done their job. Therefore, looking at the list of problems, instead of feeling that it is unorganized from our side, I just feel that it perfectly illustrates the point of everybody who's trying to boycott, because there are far too many problems to kind of condense shortly in the game right now. And if anything, the fact that there are so many problems, it just kind of like encourages me and to keep on pressing, to keep on going, and to keep on standing for the things that I personally find to be wrong with the game. And additionally, I wanted to point out that it has always and forever been easier to knock down, to criticize, to say something's gonna fail, to say nothing's gonna matter, to say that you're not gonna be able to change anything. And whenever anything of any significance happens, there's always plenty of critics, plenty of naysayers, and obviously always depends on the situation who they are. But the fact of the matter is that no thing has ever kind of been universally accepted. It is, however, much harder to make something happen. It is much harder to actually try and make a difference. As a simple examples here, we can say that it really doesn't take much skill, effort, or brain power to look at a painting and say it sucks. It is, however, much harder to produce a good painting. Same as it doesn't take much of anybody to look at a chair and say it's poorly made. It is, however, much trickier to make that chair. Unfortunately, often, majority of the people who say I don't like that chair or I don't like that painting are also the people who have never tried to paint. So that is about as much as I can say to everybody who says that this is like a waste of time. If it is a waste of time, maybe, but what is it to you then? If you're not willing to take part, and it is not my job to try and convince anybody that the game is fantastic. It's not my job to convince anybody that Kabam knows what they're doing and we should all trust them. It's not my job to convince anybody that things are going to be okay. Or, on the contrary, I do not take it upon myself to try and say that everything is grim and gloom and there is nothing to look forward and the game's going to wither and die. No, what my personal outlook on the game right now is that it is a great game with a huge potential, but many flaws, and unfortunately I personally feel that the company developing the game that we love so much has dropped the ball far too many times for far too long and is refusing to pick it up. Now, they have come forward and fixed a couple of things like alliance tickets, which is awesome. Absolutely no problem. Anybody, I think, who's boycotting right now with alliance tickets. My alliance love them. The fact that people are going to be able to share the cost has made many other people love alliance tickets. That's great, but there are far more problems in the game that need to be addressed, and we cannot wait till 2030 for them to be addressed. Because the pace that's going on currently, the fact that daily event rewards are 3 to 3 years old, and there are just so many things that have gotten stuck. And if you think that magically Kabam has woken up like, I don't know, Mr. Scrooge after the ghost of Christmas past and present and future, and is gonna magically change everything in the game to make everybody happy, well, I find that personally to be naive. I find that, once again, the best way to communicate them is with my wallet, and that is how I'm trying to do so. Also, from like my personal attitude towards boycott, I think I have more or less weaved it in this case, and I'm not going to spend too much time here, but I wanted to say that yes, I can definitely myself also find flaws with how the boycott started, for instance, because there was obviously a lot of negotiation, a lot of alliance politics, and then all of a sudden it was just Asgard just kind of started it, and then for instance, me personally, I was left in kind of like a situation, well, what now? Do I kind of like do nothing, or do I do something? And then I took a day and I made my video saying that, well, they started, I might as well, because effectively, again, what I said in the first video, your individual reasonings do not matter nearly as much as your actions do. Your gripes with the game, and we all have our problems with the game, do not matter as much as whether the message is conveyed as clearly as possible. And as plenty of people have said in past, and yeah, speak with your wallet. And if you speak loudly enough, then maybe Kabam is going to hear. It will never be a situation where everybody's on board and it doesn't have to be. There doesn't have to be a point where Kabam makes no money at all, $0 in one day, right? That's unrealistic. Even during 12.0, I'm sure that people are spending on people who are logging in, right? It's very unrealistic to think that if everybody doesn't do it, it doesn't account or amass for anything. My perspective of it is, if plenty of people do it, and there is a visible difference, let's say, on their set income trajectories and projections, and they see a downward trend that's significant enough to be respected, then there will be a change and it will be addressed. Because you do not want to be that person working in Kabam, for instance, that is responsible for their profits dropping by 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, whatever. And looking, for instance, at my individual alliance spending as well, that is more than I earn in a year, because my alliance have a lot of whales. If I would have to go to my boss and tell that I lost all of that money, well, I'd likely face serious, significant troubles. I guess the point is that I just wanted to fight against that dogma that if everybody doesn't get involved, it doesn't matter. Now, what matters is money. And if enough money is withheld from Kabam, it does matter. And it does matter to them, and it will yield results. And lastly, I think this is going to be more or less it for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Just wanted to remind everybody, please stay respectful. If you cannot find it in yourself to withstand from some sort of personal attacks, well, then get the fuck out of my channel, comment section, or everywhere else. I honestly do not find it too difficult to just hide people or ban from my channel, whatever. I'm just, as politely as possible, trying to urge everybody, if you disagree with me, that's perfectly fine. Don't have to be completely I don't know, crazy about it. The point is, just conduct yourself in a civil manner. If you disagree with me, tell me why, and if I see that point being worthwhile to answer, I will answer to your comment and explain why I think something. I'm always up for engaging into a dialogue and discussing matters, and perhaps, I don't know, maybe some of you can change my opinion on some things in the game, and I'm fully open to it. Perhaps I can change your opinion about something, but if we start insulting each other, there's going to be no benefit to that whatsoever, to either of our days. And I don't know how about you guys, I don't personally like to go through comment section and kind of like ruin my day and spend my day insulting or I don't know, arguing with strangers. Anyways, that being said, it is it for today's video. So it's Baby Yoda time. Check him out drinking from his sippy cup, patiently waiting on how things are going to resolve. And lastly, again, if you cannot possibly kind of like act like a civil human being, then you should escort yourself now. Do not stop by comment section. And that being said, it is me done, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.